right, everyone, we're going to continue our media availabilities for today. We're joined by William Byron, the driver of the number 24 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start in the front with Dustin.
Sports. William, you started driving in a car at 14, several years after a lot of other competitors. As more and more kids are racing at an earlier age, do you think that somebody could be in your position a decade later by not competing until age 14 on a track with the way that so many kids are racing, or is there still that path that you were able to do through iRacing? Has things changed in the last several years?
I mean, I think you can still do it that way just because I feel like it's more of a maturity thing. Like, I don't think that me starting younger would have yielded the same results. Like, I just feel like me starting when I did, I felt like I understood things. I had watched racing for a long time, and I had a little bit better idea of what I was looking to do. So I feel like starting really young is fine if that's what you choose to do, but it's easy to get burned out too. So you don't want to be burned out at 14 and have raced for so many years and so many weekends that you don't have much of a life outside of that. So I feel like I learned a lot of things by racing, starting when I did, and kind of going from there, and still having the desire and the drive now to do it every weekend.
Maturity aspect overcame. People talk about it's about getting laps, getting experience, which you didn't have if you started racing from 7 to 14. Those were all those laps you lost. The maturity still can overcome laps run type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's quality of laps. I don't think any laps are good. I think I've spent plenty of time at go-kart tracks and going to race different things, and I can't say all of those laps were valuable to what I do on Sundays. I think some of them were. So it's more quality than quantity, I think, and getting yourself in competitive environments where it's very difficult to compete and win. I think that's really important, because having that false sense of confidence that you're going to win every race is not real. So you got to put your kid in different situations that he's going to be challenged. And see how they perform and see if they enjoy it. If they enjoy that challenge, that's usually what it takes. Because when you get to this level, you're only going to win maybe 10 to 20% of the time. So it's very difficult. You go a lot of weeks losing.
And last thing is temperature Sunday is supposed to be around 100 degrees. Feel like 109 degrees. Is there a point where it's too hot to compete? And what precautions are you taking?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be certainly really hot, but we had a race here. Last year was around 96 degrees, so I was looking at that for reference. But I do think it's going to be tough. These cars are really hot. We've taken a lot of measures to help the cooling on our side with the cool shirts and all those things. So hopefully all that stuff works well, and we can have a smooth day. It's nice that it's 100 miles shorter, bigger racetrack, so there's a little bit more airflow. And less work, in the corners. I feel like if you were at Bristol and it was 100 degrees, you'd have guys really falling out. But here, I think it'll be a little bit easier.
We'll go to Bob.
Bob Hocker, Fox Sports. I assume you watched last year's race to prepare for today.
Yeah.
What's it like to watch and see all these tires blow, and then you had your deal with Hamlin, which created drama for a couple of weeks, penalty, and then revised penalty. Is it depressing? Is it what are the feelings when you're watching it? You're trying to learn, but you had all this stuff going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of chaos last year. I think that what I looked at was how fast our car was. That's really what inspired me, was how good we were last year, and how we could pass through the field, and missed out on a couple stage points here and there, I thought, during the race. Stage 2, just the way that it went at the end there. Probably missed out on 2, and then stage 1 as well. So I feel like we could have had even more points that day. And so that's kind of what I look at, is how do we maximize that day a little bit better. if we have the same speed this year, or hopefully a little bit better. So I like this racetrack, and I feel like I was able to navigate through traffic. So I'm hopeful the tires aren't an issue this year. They did a tire test here, so I'm trusting all that stuff, and for us, just hopefully bring similar speed.
We'll go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kickingthetires.net. William, well, I mean, it's been a great season for you all, up to this point. You know, most laps led, the stage wins and overall wins. Looking back on what you've accomplished so far, you know, does that momentum obviously it's the bonus points and things like that for the playoffs, but personally, how does that make you feel to say, look, I have had a dominant season at this point?
Yeah, I haven't really reflected on it too much. You know, I think that I've thought about that over the last couple weeks, or really the last week in general, as we start the next round, like trying to enjoy what we've accomplished, and it just doesn't work for me. I haven't thought about how good a season it's been or anything like that. So definitely not where my mind is. Maybe in November I might look back and reflect and say it was a great year, but there's still a lot to accomplish, and I feel like we're just starting to get into the meat of the season. So this is the important time of the year, and it's hard to just reflect and look back.
Getting through this race and looking forward to Talladega and the Roval would be in the two kind of wild cards, so to speak, for the next couple of races. You know, that momentum, those points, that's going to help you. But how do you tackle Talladega? How do you tackle a Roval and then move on to the next round?
Yeah, I mean, Talladega has been hit or miss for us in the last couple of years. I think we've had solid finishes. We've been good at avoiding crashes with my spotter, and we've been good at managing our way to the front. I think we could get a little bit better at getting some stage points here and there. So I look at that, trying to make better decisions. Definitely a lot of studying that's going to go into this week to figure out what we need to do a little bit better for Talladega based on Daytona, really.
Hit the sensor in the front.
You got me? All right. So based on Talladega in the spring. So I'm a little nervous about that one. And then, the Roval I'm confident in. I think we've always been fast there. It's always been a good track for me. And just winning Watkins Glen, I think we've got a good, road course feel. So we just got to get through Talladega, really.
And then we'll go over to the left.
Hey, William, Lloyd Watson with FrontStretch.com. With how difficult it is to pass here typically, what is the importance of getting a good qualifying lap in to start the round? And then with the strategy now that it's 100 laps less?
Yeah, it is important for sure, but last year I saw a lot of passing. As crazy as that was, to see, I thought there was a lot of passing throughout the field last year. So I think this next-gen car yields itself to have some of that. With it being hot out, I think you're gonna move around the track some, within those two grooves that we have here. So, you're gonna be off throttle and able to pass people. So it's not a huge deal to start in the teens, I would say, but you definitely don't want to start in the 20s. And it is a short first stage, so you got to get a lot done quickly. So hopefully start, in the top 10 like we have been, and hopefully on the front row. But if not, I think your day's not done.
We'll go to Holly.
Hi, William. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I know you said that you don't really want to reflect on some of the accomplishments that you've had so far this year. However, do you feel a little bit different? You've improved every season statistically. Do you feel that this year, this is the year that you legitimately and absolutely go for the championship? You have the expectation of that and the confidence because of what you've been able to do in the regular season?
I mean, I definitely think it's my best chance at it so far. I look at being 25 years old, and I feel like I have a lot of opportunities at this. So this is a learning experience to see what the pressure's like getting to Phoenix, So hopefully we make it past Martinsville this year. We were close last year, and hopefully just get a little bit closer. So I feel like each year has been that steady progression, that steady learning curve. So I just want to keep that going and try to make that next step. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think our team is probably as good as it's ever been. So we're definitely really capable.
We'll go right in the front.
Jeff Watkins with Race Week. Just to kind of piggyback off some of the questions you already had, you do have the most wins in the series at this point, and it's your best year so far. Is there one thing that you can point to that's made the difference between this year and past?
I don't know. I think we just came out of the off season with a lot of hunger and a lot of drive to be better, and I think we prepared like that throughout the off season. I mean, Rudy was working on, I think Christmas Eve, so I think it really never stopped, and I think that started with him, and then it trickled throughout the team. Myself, I never really took a break. I was racing throughout the off season, so I think a lot of things were different. We didn't really settle for what we did last year, having a couple wins and getting close. I think we went at it full steam and tried to get better, and it showed once we showed up at Las Vegas for the third race of the year. We were really strong. So I think it's just continued throughout the year, and we just got to keep improving.
Are there any additional questions for William? All right, thank you, William. Good luck this
thank
weekend.
you.